Hi everyone, I am so excited for you to watch this video today. I have my very first interview video and I've got Peyton on the line with me here today. He emailed me a while back and said, I make a lot of money on Medium, not through curation, and I want to tell more people about how to do it. And at first I was like, what? How does that even work? Because the only money-making way I know with Medium is through curation. So I got to talking and he agreed to be interviewed about his process, about how he does things. I'm excited to share all that information with you today. So I'll hand over to Peyton. Tell me a bit more about yourself and about what you do.
Yeah, hi. So thanks for having me on, Julie. Yeah, I'm Peyton. I did email you that one day because I was very impressed about how you make money online. And I watched your videos on curation and things like that. The reason why I wrote is because I do exactly the opposite. At the time, I had made hardly nothing through Medium by curation. And what I do is brand journalism. I find clients and I write premium articles for them. I get premium results, and then I ask for a premium price. So I charge anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 per article. So
Wow.
that's basically in a nutshell how I do it.
Okay, wow, that is really cool. I guess the question I have for you is, how did you get started? How did you start saying, I'm going to make money on Medium by doing brand journalism?
If we go like way back, I went to college. I've been writing for a while, but it was mainly academic. And I didn't think you could make money writing like your thoughts or articles for people. I thought, I think there's a big disconnect with what's commercially viable and then what they do in academia. And my writing was terrible. So, it was so bad, like wall of text, terrible. And so I basically took a year and just kind of played around with writing. And I did not produce anything publicly. And I'll tell you now that I went from making zero money to $1,000 an article. I didn't do content mill like everybody recommends that you do a content mill. I always thought, I'm competing with people that want to write, $1,000 or 1,000-word article for like $10. Like, no way. So I didn't even like go that route. I got kind of good-ish at writing. And then I took this online course on social media marketing and I failed. I spent $1,000. It was a lot of money. And I completely failed. But then eventually I got some clients and I did well. I got some digital marketing clients and I did all right. And then I wrote the owner, the creator of that course. I said, hey, do you mind if I review of your course? I made a few $1,000s last month. I think it's outstanding. And he's like, yeah, no problem. You have my blessing. I wrote it and that on medium.com. And that went to the moon. I got thousands of hits, tons of, hundreds of follows.
Wow.
And what I did is I strategically got his URL for his landing page and his free training and his YouTube. Mm-hmm. I cloaked all those and put them through bit.ly. I tracked all those links. Mm-hmm. And then 2 weeks later, I said, yeah, I sent 150 people to your landing page or whatever. And he was like, wow. So he basically hired me on the spot. So that's kind of my secret of kind of getting into it. If you don't have a portfolio, so all your writers out there that like think that you have to have like these big publications, you only get like 1 or 2 lines in Forbes for your client. Mm-hmm. That's it, unless they're doing a feature article. But you have to be like Elon Musk for that to happen. I think my clients want to tell the whole story, the whole big story, and do some brand journalism without being super cheesy. It's not like, there's like a limit to that. Like I really try to find that story. Mm-hmm. So this guy was like, yeah, what do you charge? And I'm like, well, how much is your course? 1,000? I think I can at least send you one guy, one gal, one person, one student. I ended up sending him like 15. So he did a return on investment within like an hour. I'd sent so many people to his website, and he told me he knows the conversion rate of that specific page. Yeah. And he says that if they're highly targeted, not just like anybody, but like a Medium is very interesting because you have the entrepreneurial type there. So to me, that's pretty targeted. And then I got him in the Startup magazine, which is, for publication, which is very targeted. Mm-hmm. And he goes, yeah, I convert from 2 to like 3.5%. So based on the low end on 2%, you probably brought in like $25K worth of revenue.
So a conservative estimate is you made
it is very conservative. And we just kept like promoting that. And there's a bunch of little tricks I do. But that's kind of how I do it. And I think Medium knows that you're doing it, so it automatically disqualifies you from curation.
Yeah.
And so I put at the very top, sponsored content, that sort of thing, FTC rules, right?
Yeah.
But they're not against it. What they are against is like third-party ads.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I don't do that. I write the story.
Yeah.
That's how it all started. And then I never advertise. It's 100% referral. And I'll do anywhere from like 3 to 7 articles a month. So you do the math. If I'm getting 1,500 to 3,000 per article, that's a pretty decent living. And I've been lazy lately. I mean, I put out like 3 client articles last month. I mean,
still pretty good earnings. So yeah, I mean,
not bad.
I'm thinking about how many articles I wrote on Medium last month. And I think last month was an exception. I wrote like 3 or 4. But in previous months, I've written like anywhere between 30 to 60 articles per month.
Wow.
And not made anywhere near what you're making with like 3.
But here's the beauty. There's like the holy grail thing, because like you've got like 3 things happening. You can get income from brand journalism, right? Writing a 2,000 word article for a brand and lightly pushing the brand, like very lightly, not a hard sell, just like find a story, put the brand in.
For sure.
So that's one stream of money, $1,500 to $3,000. And then you can write an article that's not branded, one of your own, and that could be Medium curation money. And I've seen people make thousands of dollars doing that.
That's true.
And then if you disclose affiliates, put affiliate link, maybe like Amazon, ClickFunnels, you can get money from that. So there's probably like 3 to 6 different ways to make money just on Medium alone.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people only see the curation aspect. And I mean, that's a lot to begin with, that on its own, and that kind of overwhelms people. But it sounds like you've been able to kind of make this work really well for you. I was actually interested. So you said that you got your first client like almost by accident, it sounds like. Like you're like, hey, I would love to write this story about you. It went really well. And then he was like, let's do more of that. Right. So how have you kept it going since then? How do you get more clients?
So every couple weeks, maybe like every 3 weeks, I'll write the people that I wrote for back, and I say, here's the statistics, here's the data. So do you need any more work? I brought you whatever, 1,000 client or 1,000 landing page hits. Let me know if you need more work. But if you don't, can you turn me on to somebody? Can you recommend me to somebody who might benefit from what I do? And about half the time they say, oh, I can think of a few names. And then that's how it started. And then because I really hate sales, actually, I'm not so great at it.
I think most writers just hate any kind of sales.
When you contact them, say, hey, Bob told me that you might be interested. Here's what I did for Bob. Like that is like a super easy sale.
Yeah, it's not at all like a cold outreach.
So that's one way I get. Yeah, that's cold. Yeah, cold outreach does work, but it's a numbers game. So that's one way, but something I got to kind of backtrack. One of the articles that I wrote, it was on swing trading, and according to keyword analysis tools, that term swing trade is a difficult word. It scored like 86 out of 100. You really shouldn't touch anything like north of like 40 or 30.
Real quick, let's back up. I think you're talking about SEO, right? I'm a very beginner SEO, and I think several of my viewers might also. So would you mind to start quickly backing up and explaining like what that means, like what it means?
Yeah, search engine optimization is, I mean, when you Google something and the term that you want to rank for comes up, your article comes up under that term, that's SEO. You're optimized in the search engines, Google, for certain keywords. And so what I did before all this started, I just learned about Medium. I thought, maybe I'll write something. I wrote a very confessional article, and that's kind of the key to Medium. You got to be very confessional, personal.
Open, honest.
Talk about your failures and humility. That'll go through the roof.
Absolutely, yeah.
That was like the number 4 article for a year, and now it's like 9 or 10.
Still though,
a couple years later, but it beat out like almost. Basically beat out all banks but one, all investment firms but one, all swing trading platforms and software, every single one. It beat out every single dictionary.
Yeah.
It was placed right underneath Wikipedia's entry.
That's huge. So you're saying that, did you know about SEO when you wrote that article?
Oh yeah, I've taken courses in SEO,
Yeah.
and that's what I teach the people that I coach now is article SEO. And the beauty about that is Medium takes care of a lot of that. There are some things you need to do to kind of optimize. And what I discovered is Medium has a high domain authority.
Right.
Okay, so domain authority is like massive amount of backlinks come to it, and it's kind of like premium ranked in the world of websites. So to put that in context, the New York Times has a domain authority of about 94 lately. Okay, Medium is 96.
Oh, wow. Okay, so right
it is there. Like this, 800-pound gorilla in terms of like authority and prestige. And so the beauty is that with the New York Times, you have to be talented and a real journalist to get printed in there.
Yeah.
The beauty about Medium is you don't. Anybody can hit publish. And so if you follow the curation guidelines, most of them, and if you do some brand journalism, you're doing it for a client. If you follow like just good practice in writing, you'll definitely produce a great article. And if it's at a certain length, like so SEO, they want you to do north of say 1,200 words is going to rank well. That that definitely helps. That's going to help you rank. So long story shorter, I ranked for an almost impossible keyword. And I didn't do it for a client. I just did it for the heck of it, kind of like stumbling upon it. And I was telling that to this guy that I took his online course, and I said, yeah, man, I've done this a couple times now, 2 totally different keywords, ranked them. And I think I could do that for you. Wow. So what I ranked him for was 4 or 5 very key phrases for his industry, like number 1 blank course. I ranked him for that. I ranked it for best blank course in your industry, put in your niche. And like to this day, so he gets like thousands of hits. And he's like, I'm like, you own this keyword.
That's his stuff. Yeah.
Right. And so
the first thing that people see when they Google that.
So going back to your original question, like that's kind of how I get clients. I said, listen, here's my case study. Here's what I've done for people. If you'd like these results, let me know. If not, I'm going to move on to the next person in your niche. And they're like, no, wait. Like, story to tell. We want those hits. To most writers, if I say I'm charging like $1,500 for an article, they're like,
that's a lot.
You're used to like 300. Like 400 is a big deal for a junior. But the way I structured is that it's $1,500 before I even start. They sign a contract. They give me their information. And then I say, if I can rank them in Google on the first page within 1 month, I get a $1,500 bonus one time. One-time fee. If it takes me longer, it takes me 2 months, I only get 1,000. It takes me 3 months, I get 500. After 3 months, the one-time bonus is off the table. But about 60% of the time, I get them to the first page within a month and a half.
Wow, that's amazing. And I mean, that's great for you because you're earning money, but also for the people who you're writing about, that must be really, really huge for them.
Oh yeah, almost like half of them, if they Googled their own name, my Medium article would show.
That's fantastic.
And so what's great is that, so here's a little secret, is that I work with online coaches and also people that do courses. Courses is a fantastic niche. And you don't have to be a pro in that. If it's about, say you're doing an SMMA course, social media marketing agency course, you don't have to be a complete pro about that. AJ Smart is a client of mine. They're a really big company. I will never rank for their keywords because they've written thousands of things. I just tell them, I go, let's just do straight SEO and kind of like rank you and get backlinks. They're totally fine with that. They gave me their course for free. And so I got to take it and I got to review it and I disclosed that in the article. And then I wrote a review about it. Just imagine like the referrals from that one. They've worked with every billion-dollar brand that I can think of. Since I did a good job for them, they're likely to give me favorable introductions. So that just having that one contact kind of opens up the door to potentially and the first guy. Yeah, exactly. The first guy gave me 3 clients.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like it's a win-win for everyone because you get to write, which you enjoy doing. You make money, which is what everyone wants to do, make money by writing. And the people you work with, they love your work so much that they go on and refer you to other folks by the sounds of it. Like,
Yeah, that's
more
exactly
often than
how.
not. Yeah. So, I mean, what a business model. But okay, so that seems like we touched on all the highlights. I would love to know, like, what's the hardest part for you? What do you, I guess, like least about what you do?
I'm super ethical when it comes to writing, and I
Yeah.
think I have to get better at qualifying the client, because I ended up writing an article for somebody in the social media marketing niche, and I found out later after the article that this course that I was promoting wasn't even finished, and he didn't even say it on his website. So he's
Oh
charging
no.
$1,500 for a course that was only 1/5 done.
Oh my God. That's
And I was
awful.
like, and what happened is I'd had the previous course and went through that, and he's like, oh no, it's just like an improvement of that. And so I kind of
It
believed
wasn't
him.
even there.
So I took that as a loss and
Yeah.
just kind of went on. But the problem is that like that was actually a referral. Somebody, actually one of my favorite clients,
Referred
recommended
that
this
person to you.
person. You got to do some background research,
Really do your due
and
diligence.
ultimately as a writer, your reputation is on the line.
Yeah.
And so you want to write for upstanding individuals doing fantastic, remarkable work.
Yeah.
I just totally screwed up there. And honestly, it was not worth the headache or the money. Like, I wish I would have not done it.
Yeah. So I had no idea. That's awful. Yeah. It really drives home like the importance that I guess for anyone thinking about doing this at home,
Well, that's
yeah,
the
you
beauty of
really
what,
have to do your research on who you're working for and working with. But yeah.
and that's the beauty of like doing two things on Medium, like
Yeah.
doing
You don't.
client work, but also doing your own work. Because when you get an article curated, you don't have to deal with clients. You do
That's
some
the dream.
research, you speak from your heart, you do some research. It'll slowly but surely rank uh, in Medium's algorithm, and you'll get paid. And it, no people to deal with.
Yeah.
But the other side is that there are clients that I love, that I absolutely adore. There's certain clients that I'm always looking out for them and helping them improve their business a little bit like a consultant, and saying, hey,
Sure.
here's an opportunity that maybe, before you launch, we'll put out this article to kind of prep. And
Hmm.
then that's another thing I do. I do funnel consultation, and a lot of writers don't know that. But there's
Right.
like top, middle, and bottom of the funnel in a sales funnel. And a
Yeah.
lot
This
of
is
what
brand new information for me.
oh, that's kind of like part of the key to how it becomes so successful, is that I integrate marketing with the article, so it kind of like pairs up with the launch.
Okay.
And that's kind of like a deeper conversation. Writers need to go beyond the actual the article and writing. Where I made the money was on the strategy
Yeah.
and the marketing and the launch sequence and all these little business things that a lot of writers don't know. And
Hmm.
if they just learn that part, that's where the real money comes in.
Yeah.
Because I read people on Medium all the time. You're one of them that write like way better than I do. And I'm wondering why you're not making $20,000 a month or whatever. And it's like, there's this little piece that's missing.
Yeah.
A
The
little bit of
business
it's
slash
SEO, a
marketing.
little bit funnels. But like most people can like totally learn this and do fine.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like all the information is out there. It's been on my to-do list to learn about SEO for like a year, and I just haven't done it. This is kind of like galvanizing me to try to know more about it. But yeah, this actually brings me to my next question. So now that you're like experienced in it, you've had the ups, you've had the downs. What do you wish you could tell past Peyton? Like, what's the thing that you would tell yourself at the beginning that you know now?
I wish that I studied up on and learned how to find the story
Uh-huh.
better.
Okay.
So I have this very fine-tuned questionnaire for clients. It's the free consult call,
Yeah.
right? See if there's a story there. In the beginning, it was terrible. And I just wanted to write and get a check. I've had to turn some clients down. And I think they turned me down too, because they saw that there was nothing there,
Yeah.
because there wasn't really a story there. And what I don't want to say out loud to them is like, I'm not going to write a story of how your product or you are the greatest thing on earth, because no one wants to read that article.
Mm-hmm.
We want readers want something interesting. They want an actual
Conflict, resolution,
story.
an arc. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why we read, for
And
sure.
so, that publication that you're a columnist for, A Better Marketing, Nicholas, he's like really big on storytelling.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
not just like regular journalism stuff, but he goes into how the movies do it and how
Oh my
television
gosh.
shows do it.
His
Like,
meta-analysis are
yeah,
so
so
fun
like
to read. Yeah.
anybody who ever liked literature in school, like it's that same storyline. I'm
Yeah.
talking Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey. That's actually part of my articles. And most people don't see that. I mean, unless they look through like a writer's lens. But I'm making sure there's some sort of denouement, some sort of like resolution at the end that ties it up nicely.
That's what makes it a good piece of work, right? Is that they can feel these emotions. They know the arc's happening, but they don't like see the work being done. Do you know what I mean? Like when you see like a really well carved, I don't know, like a chair or something, you don't see the screws and the bolts. You just see one cohesive whole and you're like, I want to sit on that chair. I don't know what people think about chairs.
So that's exactly it. So I wish I knew that these literature things were a part of commercial articles.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Because I was used to reading like Inc.com articles or and those are like shameless self-promotion of a product, which is all right, but the better brand journalists don't do that. The better brand journalists say, they're like Red Bull is probably to me the epitome of brand journalism. Like Red Bull has its own, it's called the Red Bull Bulletin. It has its own magazine.
Wow.
But a lot of the articles, they don't even mention Red Bull in it. There might be like
a lifestyle, a
picture of somebody skiing, and in the background there's this tiny banner because they sponsored that event.
Yeah.
But you never even hear about the drink.
Yeah.
And to me, that's some of the best kind of impressions that you can make through marketing. I kind of thought, well, I'm going to be a commercial writer now. I can say goodbye to all that stuff that I thought was really fun. Yeah. And in reality, you get to play with that again. You get to define who the hero is. Is the customer the hero?
Yeah.
Is the reader the hero? Is the product the hero? Is the CEO the hero? And you get to kind of work that in.
That's so interesting. That's something I'd never thought about. I kind of had, like my writing versus brand journalism in two completely separate buckets. But I guess like you say, good writing is stuff that's engaging, that people want to read. And the better your brand journalism is, the more you pay attention to these tools that can make your story better, the more successful you'll be, the more people will want to read it. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Most of the articles I see on Medium, it's the reader that's a hero.
Yeah.
Like they want a quick win. And if you give that to them, they're going to.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way of framing it.
The funny story is I took on a major client, wrote an article for him. It did well. It got, 11.2 little clappy claps, got thousands of hits to their landing page that they're selling stuff at. And I created another one, but I didn't do the brand journalism as much. I just made it kind of about me and my failure, my win with it. It was about an app for meditation. And ironically, like I had already used the app and bought the app before I even met these clients. Here's a second article. It's pro bono. I do put your links in it, but like I know I'm not getting paid for it. That article got curated and it made $1,000.
$1,000?
Yeah. But what I told these business owners, I said, this is an article that you could put in your newsletter for anybody who's brand new. And even if you don't feature it, you use it as a PS, as a case study. Yeah. Like put it in there. And so these guys get tons of email opt-ins every single day.
Yeah.
They're all seeing that article. And it doesn't go against any Medium rules to do that. And in fact, they encourage it. If you have an email list,
put it in there.
As a writer, you should send it out.
Yeah.
As long as it's in their newsletter, every new reader that comes in, that's my little trick for you. Use your client's email.
That's such a good tip. I had never thought of doing that. That's so good. Yeah, because like my newsletter, it's very modestly sized, and I do occasionally use my own stories in it for that. And it's got me like, a modest amount of money. But yeah, I had not thought about like trying to get it onto people / clients who already have a well-established newsletter.
Yeah, you gotta get it in there. You do 3 or 4 of those, and that's like a car payment every month. I'm telling
you. Unreal. Yeah. Well, I have 2 more questions for you. And the first one is, would you recommend doing this under a pen name? You've talked a bit about like having your own writing style, the stuff that you personally, Peyton, want to write about versus the brand journalism. Do you do them both under the same Medium profile?
Yeah. So if I can kind of, this is something maybe from the last question, what I wish I would have known earlier is that I would absolutely recommend that you have 2 different pen names.
Okay.
So one for me that's personal, that I just 100% just want to do curation. There's no brand, there's no money being exchanged, just me and my thoughts. I love writing those articles. Like I really do that. That meditation article, I wrote that so quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fast.
Yeah.
I spent several days on the one that they paid me for it. I went through an editor, I hired all that stuff. But because of the medium rules, I was looking very closely to the policy and the rules, and you definitely don't want to violate them. If you violated them, they could rip you out from the whole ecosystem and destroy all those clients that had those articles. Those could be gone, right? Your profile's gone, all that. And so you don't want to risk it. I would have a separate profile and follow the rules as much as possible. You won't get curated, but they still, there's a fantastic CEO online. He's a CEO for JotForm.
Okay. Yes, I've read this stuff.
Yeah. So he does a form of brand journalism. He'll write an article about productivity, and at the very bottom, it's like, by the way, click on this button for JotForm. Like, okay, you're embedding your brand in there. But like Red Bull, he's not even talking about his brand. He's just giving you a real piece of productivity advice. Yeah. You love it. And at the bottom, if you're in the market for a survey form or whatever, you click that thing. Following the rules and as a safety net, having two different accounts is kind of the way to go here.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think I've mentioned this to most of my viewers before, but I myself write under a pen name, mostly because I wrote an article about my cats, and like my then boss found it and was like, "Oh, I didn't know that you write about your cats." And it was only my cats. I've since written much more like deep, honest, personal stuff about my own life that I wouldn't want anyone associating with my real life self. So I think having a pen name on Medium is a great thing because it just allows you to be more honest and more vulnerable. But it sounds like having one for like separating your brand journalism writing from your personal writing is a good idea regardless. So that brings me to my last and possibly most exciting question. How do other people start doing this?
Okay, so I knew this one was coming, so I wrote down 4 steps. Okay, you ready?
Here we go. Okay. Everyone take notes.
And if you forget, I have a website called writingincomeaccelerator.com. I have a report there that you can download and you can get on the email list. It's called $413 billion content marketing opportunity. Basically, the industry of content marketing is going to be worth $413 billion in just like a couple years.
Billion with a B.
Billion with a B. That's including all content though. So social media, video, and all that. But of the long form type, that's at least like 50 billion, right? And those I get these clients all the time. It's ripe for disruption. They want somebody to do that. They might have a marketer on staff that does blogs, short things, right? But no one does the long form stuff. So they hire out for that. To get started, what I do is try to get an article curated on Medium, an article that's maybe like 1,200 words.
Okay.
Because for SEO reasons,
1,200 is the key.
To rank, Google's looking for something that's authoritative. Something like, oh, this answers the query to the question that was typed in.
Right.
And usually that's not a 400-word little thing. So they want, something that's really well written. Well written translates to curation. Like if you follow the guidelines of curation, there's a good chance that you could rank 1 or 2 times. That you're doing something right. So that's like the first thing is like improve your writing chops.
Okay, yeah.
Because your clients will want that from you.
Of course, good writing. They want to pay for good writing.
The second thing is just to learn about article SEO. That's the kind of stuff that I teach. Yeah. It's not super duper technical. There's a lot of stuff that I ignore about SEO that writers don't need to worry about. You don't need to know how to do all that coding stuff. But I teach that. But if you don't learn it from me, learn it from someone else. Learn article SEO. It's super duper easy. You just got to remember to do it. It's going to take time to learn, but I would do that. Secondly, and once you do that, with your curation and that knowledge that you have SEO, the milestone should be to get an article on page 1 of Google for what they call a mid-tail keyword, basically a 2-word keyword phrase, like swing trading is mid-tail. Yeah. Like you couldn't rank for the word shoes, right? That's like, Nike's going to get that one.
Sure.
And it doesn't help to get ranked for like a 5-word phrase. But if you do one that's like 2 or 3, you're in a somewhat competitive and you rank for number in the first page, that is a great milestone. You'll now use that for your client work. You can tell them like, I rank these keywords. And number 3 is, this might be the hardest of all, is you got to learn how to talk to clients or pitch to clients. I think the key to anything in an online business is sales, and people hate sales. I understand that. But if you got the chops, if you've ranked something, it's going to be a pretty easy sell. But you can always do what I did. A lot of people taking online courses. or have got coaching for somewhere or bought a software program somewhere, I would just approach them pro bono and say, hey, I rank articles. I would love to do a review on your software program, whatever. You can look at the final draft, get the final word in. I'm going to cloak and shrink the URLs and track all these URLs, and we'll talk about the results later. But will you let me do that? And most of the time they'll say yes because it's free. Well, that's kind of your first case study for your first client.
Right.
So now you've got ranked in Google, you've got curated, and now you've got this client, and then you're going to get them up there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you've done that, you're set to just flat out start charging over $1,000 an article. You've already proven yourself.
Yeah.
So the last thing I would do after learning how to do the sales pitch is just to learn about online sales funnels.
Okay. And that goes back to what you were saying earlier about like that piece being the thing that makes you stand out among other people. Like anyone can write a good article, but knowing the strategy behind it is what makes you really successful. Absolutely.
There's this fantastic book out there called, it's by Russell Brunson. It's not .com Secrets. I think Expert Secrets. Either will work. .com Secrets or Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. So he created ClickFunnels. He created software ClickFunnels. If you knew nothing about funnels and you just bought ClickFunnels or learned about ClickFunnels, he does the funnel for you. So what I do is I swoop in and I ask them about these detailed funnel questions, and they're like, their head marketing people are like, and I'm like, oh, well, if you're going to pay $2,000 for my article, let's launch it properly and connect it to some of these metrics that are important to you. Mm-hmm. So we talk about metrics, we talk about the funnel. When you come in with that, they're like, oh man, this person knows what they're talking about. Looks like I'm going to get some results. They got results. They're ranking. And I'm telling you, you only have to do that like 2 or 3 times, and then they come to you. Like people I've never heard before write me on LinkedIn and say, hey, I read your article in the Medium publication. Will you do an article for us or jump on a call with me?
That's amazing.
And so I've gotten a couple clients that way. And then, as I could tell you earlier, referrals. And you just keep reheating those referrals every 2-3 weeks and say, hey, I got you 1,000 more clients. That's probably worth $20,000. I just gave you $20,000.
Yeah, honestly, and I think that's going to appeal to a lot of people like me who hate cold pitching people. It just strikes fear into my soul. But I think the idea of reaching out to someone and being like, what I did for you previously worked really well. Do you think you'd want me to do that again? Or do you know anyone who would? Like that kind of approach is much more appealing to me because it feels, I guess like less salesy and more like conversational or more, So that seems like 4 super actionable tips. And again, Peyton, thank you so much for your time and for taking the time to walk me through this huge detailed amount of information you have. I really, really appreciate it. So does my cat. I think he's been missing it. But what I want to tell my watchers or viewers now is my plan is to try to do this myself, is to follow Peyton's guidelines and see how far I get and where I do really well and kind of where I trip up, and then tell you all about how my journey went. Because I mean, my whole thing is that I love to make money by writing on Medium, and Peyton's way of doing that is just incredible. And if I can do that and I can do it, anybody, I think, will be able to do it as well. And that would be really, really cool. So I will, and we'll have Peyton on call. I'll be sending you plenty of emails later down the line, I'm sure. But again, thank you so much for your time, and for everyone else watching. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you all soon.
Thank you. Take care.
All right.